Imagine watching your favorite movie hero gear up for, one last fight.
Right, the big dramatic finale.
Exactly. But then you realize the villain waiting for them isn't a person at all. It's a flawless, emotionless supercomputer.
Oh, man. That is exactly what the 2026 World Cup final felt like.
It really was. And welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today, our mission is to pull apart this incredible narrative, which is titled The Night an Empire Fell.
Yeah, we're looking at the clash between the defending champions, Argentina, and the European champion, Spain.
Right. And for those of you listening, we want to be clear that this isn't just about a football match. It's the final act of this deeply compelling human drama.
It really is. It's where a romantic, legendary legacy just collided head-on with a terrifyingly efficient modern machine.
Which is just such a crazy dynamic. Because even if you don't follow the sport, the themes at play here are completely universal.
Oh, absolutely. We are basically looking at a masterclass in organizational psychology under immense pressure. It's the ultimate case study in, systems versus individuals.
Right, because you have Argentina relying entirely on the mythology of their past. Right. And they're forced to defend themselves against a Spanish team that, they represent the relentless, calculated reality of the future.
Exactly. So to really grasp the stakes for you guys listening, before the first whistle even blows, we have to look at the crushing psychological weight Argentina dragged onto that pitch.
Dragged is the perfect word for it, honestly.
It is. Because for 4 long years, ever since their triumph in Qatar in 2022, Argentina didn't just play football, they ruled it.
Yeah, they wore this literal golden badge on their chest everywhere they went.
Everywhere. Every stadium they walked into, they were the ultimate prize.
Which, that completely changes the psychology of a team, doesn't it?
Oh, fundamentally. Winning a championship requires hunger, right? But defending one for 4 years, that requires a level of paranoia.
Right, because everyone is gunning for you.
Exactly. Every single opponent you face is playing the game of their lives because they want to be the ones to dethrone the kings.
And you have to remember, every supporter watching genuinely believed Argentina possessed this unquantifiable magic.
Yes. They were carrying the expectations of millions. And, at the absolute center of this swirling vortex of expectation was Lionel Messi.
A figure who at this point is honestly larger than the sport itself.
Larger than life.
Right.
For 2 decades, he had produced moments that defied physics and logic.
Right.
Think about it. Entire nations had spent millions of hours building defensive strategies just around containing this one person. Mm-hmm. And almost all of them failed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, when you put it like that.
It's wild, right? When a team has a player like that, the entire organization starts to believe that no matter how dire the situation gets, they possess a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Which actually brings up a really fascinating tension in the source material, because Qatar 2022 was supposed to be the perfect ending for him.
Right.
He finally got the World Cup trophy. The long debate was settled, the story was complete.
But football, and, maybe human nature, has never really been interested in perfect endings.
No, it always asks for one more chapter. And I have to question this very concept of a perfect ending. Like, why do we always demand one more fight?
It's a great question.
It feels like watching an aging heavyweight boxer who just can't stay retired. Was Argentina actually driven by a tactical desire to win this specific match? Or were they fundamentally trapped by the whole world's demand for their magic?
I wouldn't necessarily say they were trapped by it. I'd argue they were almost addicted to it.
Addicted. Wow. Okay. Unpack that.
Well, when you look at the psychological burden of a massive legacy, it fundamentally alters how a group operates. You stop playing to win, and you start playing to sustain a myth.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and the atmosphere leading up to this final in North America was staggering. Stadiums overflowing hours before kickoff.
Right. Major cities coming to a complete standstill.
Exactly. Families staying awake through the night across totally different time zones.
Yeah.
Just to share this collective heartbeat.
Yeah, that isn't just an audience. That is an emotional tidal wave.
It is. Argentina wasn't just playing a game for a piece of metal. They were defending a religion.
And defending a religion is a heavy burden to carry for 90 minutes.
It is immense.
Yeah.
But Argentina brought something to this defense that analytics and data just can't quantify.
Right. They brought raw experience.
Experience, a hardened mentality, and crucially, this deeply ingrained belief that champions always survive.
Yeah, because they had escaped impossible high-stakes moments before.
Exactly. They had faced pressure that would shatter a normal team. Their mindset going in wasn't about executing some pristine tactical blueprint. It was rooted in the primal instinct that survival, by any means necessary, is enough.
But survival mode is a genuinely dangerous place to live when you look at who is waiting for them on the other side of the pitch.
Oh, absolutely.
Because having established Argentina's total reliance on their emotional narrative and their aging superstar, the source text shifts to their absolute antithesis, the Spanish national team.
Right.
And the way they operate is genuinely unsettling when you think about trying to compete against it. I mean, they are entirely devoid of a singular savior.
Yeah, no get-out-of-jail-free card for them.
None. Instead, they are armed with something so much more difficult to break.
They are the future of the sport. Spain walked onto that pitch young, fearless, and brilliantly organized.
And this is where the organizational psychology aspect really takes center stage for you guys listening. Spain wasn't built around accommodating a superstar's brilliance. They were a machine.
A literal machine.
Yeah. If Argentina is like a jazz band improvising around a legendary soloist, relying on feeling and the mood of the room.
Spain is a symphony orchestra playing a mathematically perfect sheet of music.
Exactly. Every single player understands their exact role. Every movement has been rehearsed thousands of times. Every pass carries a specific, calculated purpose.
They attack as a unit, they defend as a unit.
But, let me push back on this machine analogy for a second. Doesn't every machine inherently have a weak gear?
What do you mean?
Like, if you put enough pressure on an engine, eventually a valve blows, right? Is Spain really a machine, or are they more like a swarm of bees, where no single bee actually matters, but the collective swarm is deadly and chaotic and practically unstoppable?
I actually have to disagree with the swarm analogy.
Oh, really? Why?
Because a swarm implies a level of chaos and instinct. Spain isn't chaotic, they are highly engineered.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, the terrifying part of a brilliantly designed machine isn't the illusion that its gears will never break. It's the fact that the engineers have built redundancies for every single component.
Oh, wow, redundancies.
Exactly. If you find a weak gear in a standard machine, the whole thing stops. But Spain operates on a flawless, internalized system. If one player is pressured or one component fails, another seamlessly slots into that exact space to compensate.
So you can't just break a piece of it and expect the whole thing to collapse.
Precisely. And they were already the European champions, riding this massive unbeaten streak. Critics searched endlessly for structural weaknesses, opponents tried every tactical variable, and honestly, nobody found an answer.
That is wild.
But what's truly fascinating, especially when you contrast it with Argentina's heavy emotional weight, is Spain's psychological baseline. They operated with what you could call a silent confidence.
Silent confidence. I love that phrase. That is so much more intimidating than someone yelling, hyping themselves up, and beating their chest in the tunnel.
Oh, totally. Because chest beating is often a mask for insecurity.
Right. It's a way to generate adrenaline to overcome fear.
Exactly. Silent confidence is psychological intimidation in its purest form. Spain doesn't need to play with emotion because they have absolute, unwavering trust in their system.
They aren't chasing the ghosts of history like Argentina. They are methodically creating their own.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, when you are under immense pressure in your own life, do you lean on raw talent, emotional momentum, and the magic of your past successes? Or do you fall back on an unbreakable, meticulously rehearsed system?
The magic versus the method, it's an incredible dynamic. And we don't just have to treat it as a theoretical debate today, because these two philosophies physically collide on the pitch.
They absolutely do.
The whistle is about to blow, and this massive ideological contrast turns into immediate tactical reality. And you can actually see the difference before the ball even rolls. Just look at the emotional contrast during the national anthems. It is wildly cinematic.
It really is. You have the Spanish players standing there just staring blankly into the distance.
Yeah.
They're consciously controlling their nerves, managing their heart rates.
Processing the data, preparing the algorithms.
Exactly. While the Argentine players close their eyes, physically absorbing every second of the noise, just letting the emotion wash over them.
You had supporters in the stands literally crying before the match even started.
Yeah, everyone in the stadium understood that the next 90 minutes separated one nation from immortality.
And then the match begins, and Spain immediately imposes control.
And they do it in such a chilling, methodical way.
They completely refuse to play with emotion. Instead, they play with pure, cold intelligence. The ball just travels effortlessly from player to player. One pass becomes 2.
2 becomes 10.
10 becomes 20. It isn't a spectacular highlight reel style of play. It is suffocating.
Right. And we really need to define what suffocating means here in a tactical sense.
Please do.
When people watch teams string together 20 passes, it can look passive, almost boring. But you have to understand the physical and psychological toll that takes on the opposing team.
Okay.
When Argentina spends 3-4 minutes constantly chasing the ball without ever touching it, their bodies are working in overdrive.
Because they're constantly changing direction, reacting to the ball.
Right. Lactic acid starts building up heavily in their legs, their heart rates spike. And mentally, the concentration required to stay in position while chasing shadows is exhausting.
I can't even imagine.
So when Argentina finally does win the ball back, They don't have the physical burst or the mental clarity left to launch a fast, lethal counterattack.
Oh, man. So Spain isn't just taking their time with the ball. They are literally draining Argentina's energy reserves before they even attempt to score.
Exactly.
It sounds exactly like a python slowly squeezing its prey.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, when you think about how a python hunts, it isn't a sudden explosive strike from the bushes. It wraps around you and it waits.
Right.
It doesn't just squeeze with raw force. It waits for you to exhale. And the second you breathe out, it tightens the grip to take up that new empty space.
Wow.
You don't lose because you got knocked out by one lucky punch. You lose because you literally run out of oxygen.
That is a brilliant analogy.
Every time Argentina cleared the ball out of pure desperation, every time they exhaled, Spain simply took that surrendered space, stepped 5 yards higher up the pitch, and tightened the grip.
That is exactly what happened. So how does a team like Argentina respond to that kind of constriction?
Yeah, what do?
They do exactly what their DNA dictates. They rely on the mentality of champions who know how to survive a siege. They drop into an incredibly compact defense.
Let's break that down for a second, because compact defense gets thrown around a lot. What does that actually look like on the grass?
Okay, so it means the physical distance between Argentina's highest attacking player and their deepest defending player shrinks drastically.
Okay, they bunch up.
Right. They are squeezing themselves into a block that's maybe 20 yards long. By doing that, they leave absolutely zero space in the middle of the pitch for Spain to thread those dangerous, intricate passes.
Got it.
They're essentially saying, we can see the wings, we can see possession, but you will not play through our heart.
Wow. So they treated every single successful tackle, every blocked pass, as a massive victory.
Exactly. Leaning entirely on their grit.
Entirely. And behind that tight block stood Emiliano Martinez, a goalkeeper who had rescued them in penalty shootouts and impossible moments countless times before.
He provided this massive emotional anchor. Argentina's posture was defiant. If Spain wanted this trophy, they were going to have to bleed for every single inch of turf.
But then we get this incredible moment of realization from the Argentine manager, Lionel Scaloni.
Yeah, this is a pivotal moment.
He's pacing in the technical area, watching this highly structured siege unfold. And he realizes the horrifying truth of Spain's strategy.
Which is?
Spain isn't dominating by attacking relentlessly and risking exposure. They are dominating because they refuse to let Argentina keep the ball long enough to breathe.
Like you said, the oxygen was completely gone.
It was. Every single time Argentina managed to boot the ball away, it came back within seconds. Every defensive recovery just triggered another methodical wave of spandy passing.
And this is where the psychological warfare reaches its absolute peak.
Right.
The pressure in that stadium isn't increasing through the speed of the game. It's increasing through Spain's terrifying patience.
Yeah.
It turns into a high-stakes game of chess played at breathtaking physical intensity. Every step a defender takes carries massive consequences. Every slight miscalculation could decide a World Cup.
Which just makes the tension for the viewer unbearable.
Oh, completely.
The crowd senses that one wrong step ends it all. Each successful Spanish attack gets a louder, more confident cheer from their fans, and every desperate Argentine clearance is met with this massive collective sigh of relief from theirs.
It was so intense.
It wasn't an explosive end-to-end basketball-style final. It was a grueling battle of discipline.
And this really highlights why flawless systems can be so devastating to individuals who rely on momentum and emotion.
Right.
Spain's system was specifically designed to deny Argentina the very fuel they needed to perform their trademark magic, which was possession and a little bit of chaos.
Spain removed the chaos.
They did. And by doing so, they established that this first half was only setting the stage for something much bigger. It painted a clear picture that before the night was over, legacies would permanently alter and a champion would inevitably fall.
Let's pull back and look at the whole picture we've explored today in this deep dive.
Yeah, let's summarize.
We have this incredibly tense, almost suffocating scenario set up by the first 45 minutes of this match. On one side, you have the legendary Argentine survivors.
Right.
They are carrying the crushing emotional weight of millions, hoping to conjure one last impossible chapter for an iconic hero.
And on the other side, you have the emotionless, mathematical perfection of the Spanish machine, slowly and methodically squeezing the oxygen out of the game through absolute systematic control.
It is a masterful, real-world depiction of pressure, and it really forces you to examine your own approach to immense challenges.
It really does. When the stakes are completely against you, do you fall back on your past experiences, your emotional resilience, and your raw instinct to survive?
Or do you strip the emotion out entirely and build a patient, unshakable system?
Both philosophies hold incredible power, but when they finally collide, the tension is absolute.
It's the ultimate test of human nature versus human engineering.
It is.
And that leads to a profound, maybe even slightly unsettling final thought for you guys listening. The overarching theme here is that this match reshaped the future of the game itself.
That is the big claim in the source material.
Exactly. So if the systematic, emotionless machine ultimately defeats the emotional magician, what does this mean for the future of human exceptionalism?
That is the big lingering question.
Yeah.
As our systems, whether in sports, business, or technology, as they become more refined and more mathematically perfect, where does the individual actually fit in?
Is there still room for raw, uncalculated brilliance?
Will we ever see another individual whose sheer talent is larger than the game itself?
Or are we entering a totally new era, an era where flawless, emotionless collectives permanently replace the solitary hero?
It's fascinating.
It really makes you wonder if the era of the superstar, the flawed, emotional hero we all naturally root for is gone forever, replaced by the relentless efficiency of the supercomputer.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to think about the next time you find yourself hoping for a little bit of magic in a world built by machines.